Good morning and welcome. The Thursday edition of the Half Empty Cup here, Joe and Jason. And I believe we're going to have Flat Earth Dave with us today. But I do have some breaking news. It appears that we are getting closer and closer now to entering the fray in Iran. The United States is now evacuating diplomats from the embassy in Israel. They're also evacuating families and other American citizens, warning all of them to leave.
You know, the fear porn is coming. Here it comes, right, Joe? Pretty soon, everybody that's not paying attention to this, the news media will force you to, anyone that's looking at a television or a smartphone or a screen of any kind, you're going to be, this will be somewhere in your thought processes, and whether you like it or not. So let's go, Dave, I'm going to ask you, because we cover a lot of ground with you the last couple times you've been on. What do you say about those? What's going on over there overseas?
You think flat Earth triggers people? Wait until you hear what I have to say about this.
Well, let's hear it. Let's get going, man. What is your angle?
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. Our soldiers that we send over to wars and stuff, that's real. They die, and it's not good. But all wars are purposely planned wars. This is not just Iran, Iraq, whatever is coming out of nowhere. This has been planned forever. If you look at Netanyahu, since the 1990s, every speech he makes about Iran is they're going to have nuclear bombs soon. We can't let them have nuclear. They're going to have it within 2 to 3 months. He said it 1990, in the 90s, all the way up to today. It's the same story. There's nothing new. But then you got to take it a step farther. You have to look into the nuclear bomb hoax. Nuclear bombs do not exist. It's not a theory. They're fake. Right? Now, yes, big bombs exist. What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Did you know that 3 days after those bombs went off, that the flower shops were open, the sandwich shops were open, the trains were running, and people were back to work? Does that sound like a nuclear bomb? There's less cancer in Hiroshima and Nagasaki than there is in the United States. Plants, people, and animals have always thrived there. Nuclear bombs are not real.
I've heard this before. I've talked about it a little bit, that the evidence of these huge bombs. Now, I'll say this. I know, at least in my mind, and some, especially, what was it? Was it Lebanon? I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, they had that huge explosion. And I've seen these big, huge explosions from conventional bombs that are really big. But
there's video of troops at Ground Zero in Hiroshima and Nagasaki setting up skids and skids and skids of TNT prior to those explosions. It was a big TNT explosion. All explosions create mushroom clouds. The bigger the explosion, the bigger the mushroom cloud. I have video.
Dave, that's kind of my point. In Lebanon, that was a mushroom cloud explosion. I forget what exploded.
Wasn't that like a grain, like some a port thing, or something like that?
But it looked crazy, didn't it, Joey? It looked
it was
crazy.
massive, right? Yeah.
Now, Dave, real quick. My understanding is, whether we have nuclear bombs or not, I'm staying in I really don't know, because half of me thinks we have them, half of me thinks maybe we don't. But I'm convinced in Hiroshima and Nagasaki that those cities were firebombed, like what the U.S. 100%. And Britain were doing to the Germans. They were firebombing cities and completely annihilating them.
The buildings that didn't have fireproofing burned down, and the buildings that had fireproofing did not burn down. Does that make any sense with a nuclear bomb? I have video from it's a U.S. military video from an airplane of a bomb going off on an island, a nuclear bomb going off, and the mushroom cloud goes up, and you see the shock wave goes out, and there's these little cumulus clouds around, and the shock wave goes right through the clouds, and when the shock wave and the mushroom cloud clears, the exact same clouds are there. The exact same clouds are there.
Well, Dave,
right?
I've seen the footage of nuclear testing from America, and it shows the things that they're blowing up. And I remember I've seen these, and you can actually look these videos up. You have the house and the tree, and then the blast
little
is
models.
Yes,
they're little models.
Well, the blast is going to hit the house, Dave. And then right before the blast wave hits, the second wave, a car appears behind the house. They messed up on their editing.
Do something.
Yep.
It was on the Joe Rogan show they showed this. We'll be back. Stay with us, guys.
Okay, we're back here. The half-empty cup. Joe and Jason, along with Flat Earth Dave. Nuclear weapons, do they exist? Is this a real thing when we talk about Iran? Dave started this thing off with Benjamin Netanyahu. Matter of fact, someone put it out there. It's out there. I want to say maybe Zero Hedge had it. Somebody had it literally from the middle 1990s. Iran's going to have a nuclear weapon any day. This has been the message.
I just posted that montage. I just posted that montage on my Twitter, Flat Earth Dave X, and it just shows all the clips throughout the years of him saying that.
Yeah. And over and over and over and over again. By the way, it was an ammonium nitrate. That was what was in Lebanon, that blast in Lebanon. So thank you to I think it was Glenn that texted that in, so thank you for that. But you guys are blowing my mind a little bit here, okay?
So let me go a little deeper.
When you say a nuclear weapon doesn't exist, Dave, what is it?
Well, it's just a big bomb. I mean, they're just letting off big bombs. They want you to, the entire thing, this entire world, the entire reason they lie about flat Earth is to keep you in fear. False evidence appearing real. FEAR. And that's the only way they can control you, because somebody that's fearless is not controllable. So when you get into the flat Earth, the globe is a fear-filled model. And, it literally, we can get into all of that later, but nuclear bombs put you in fear. And if you believe in nuclear bombs, every time you hear a newscaster say, this could lead to nuclear bomb, nuclear war, even if you try to ignore it, every cell in your body goes into a fear state, a state of dis-ease, right? When you have that fear in your body, you literally are making yourself sick. And that's what they want. They want us sick. They want us in fear. They want to control us. They want us to believe that we are just a random speck in the middle of an expanding universe. They want to hide God. I mean, there's a whole thing. And so here's the good news. The good news is, if you're still watching the news, which you shouldn't, whenever you hear a scary, excuse me, whenever you hear a scary story about war and this and that, as soon as they mention nuclear, you can laugh. You can just imagine that person with a clown nose and a clown wig, because they're clowns. It's not real. Now, are the newscasters in on it? No, they're just talking heads. Are the politicians in on it? Some of them aren't. They're just talking heads also. But when you hear, they're going to have nukes, you can laugh instead of living in fear.
We got a caller. Let's get the caller going. 877-536-1360. We'll dig a little deeper into this, because I've been undecided on this. I'm still clinging to my conventional knowledge that they might exist. Yeah. But first caller up. By the way, if you want to call in or text in, 877-536-1360. We're live on Rumble, by the way. You can live stream us at Rumble at the Half Empty Cup of Joe. Dave, real quick. Go ahead.
Real quick, on my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down to the nuclear bombs banner and then listen to those podcasts. They did all the work for you. It's easy to believe in nuclear bombs. It's tougher to learn the truth, because it takes time and effort. The truth is all there, laid out for you. All the research has been done.
All right, let's have some fun and get to a caller. Go ahead, Brian. You're up. Can't wait. Go for it.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Brian.
So I was curious as to your thoughts on what happened to one of your competing stations here in Colorado, KNUS.
We haven't been. I've been so self-absorbed into trying to rebuild this station that I haven't been shopping the competition to see how we measure up, Brian. So if KNUS went under, I don't know what happened.
Well, they had to issue a retraction and an apology for spreading lies about the 2020 election. They did this on Friday, just as the jury was deliberating on the Pillow Guy's fate.
Oh.
Because they were being also sued by Eric Coomer.
You talk about that fake, fraudulent election of 2020?
Yeah, you're still admitting that, huh? You dodged a bullet. Eric Coomer, I guess, isn't interested in you guys.
No, I didn't dodge a bullet, Brian. Look, Brian, the 2024 election was fake and fraudulent. The 2016 election was fake and fraudulent. No, they're all fake and fraudulent, all of them, especially that one. But they're all completely fake and phony. The elections are all rigged, all of them.
Okay, well let's review, shall we? We have Fox News, Newsmax, AON, Rudy Toons, Sidney Powell, now KNUS. All have had to issue
hold on, Joe. Hold on. Let me do the list.
Money, all had to issue retractions or pay money, and none of them provided any evidence at all.
So they had to. They slandered somebody, Brian, right? Because they said it was this particular guy. This is the thing where same thing with Mike Lindell. Now, a lot of people say Mike Lindell dodged a bullet because they only had to pay a couple $1 million versus $60 million versus and I think this is where they get in trouble, right? The same thing, right, where they come out and slander somebody and say, hey, this guy is the guy that rigged it, and then those guys win, right? Because they can't prove that guy rigged it.
But the point is, they all claim that they had evidence, and none of them presented any evidence at all whatsoever, and as a result, had serious consequences.
Well, Brian, I would say that those are all weak entities that nobody should be listening to. They should be listening to something with a little more bite. They should be listening to KHNC. How's that? Because I'm not going to back off my position.
But even you, Jason, do not have any evidence.
Oh, I have plenty of evidence
to support your claim.
You vote for a Republican or Democrat. It's a controlled entity. It's a controlled. There's no election. It's one entity. We don't vote for candidates. We have an oligarchy. And I'll go right to court, and I'll sit right in court and say, okay, to prove me that I'm wrong, that these are two different entities. They're not.
I know you have, that's your opinion, but that's not fact. Evidence. Opinions are not evidence.
No. When the exact money that buys both sides is the exact same companies and entities, that's not an opinion. Let's go to Dave, the guest. Dave, am I wrong, or is Brian wrong?
What's the exact question?
We're going to depend on Flat Earth Dave to be to adjudicate this.
Yeah, he's way smarter than me. Come on, man. We got to get the smartest guy in the room to talk.
I missed the topic. What was it?
Well, he's unhappy, or he's saying that these other entities, these other media outfits here are doing retractions and backing off because they must have gone farther than me, which I'm saying that all the elections are rigged. Brian doesn't think the elections are rigged. I think these other entities probably named the Dominion.
No. I'm saying that's not what I said. I said none of these entities produced any evidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. I mean, elections are, we live in there's a new movie out. It just came out on YouTube called Barnum World. Write that down, Barnum World.
Barnum World.
And basically, because we live in a Barnum world, it's incredible. It's a system. And you can't have people as slaves unless they don't know that they're slaves. So they put them in a system where we can vote. Everything will be good as soon as we get the right person in office. And just like the Netanyahu thing, Every election from the 1960s or even before is the most important election of our life. Every time. It's the same thing. This is the most important election of our life. And then when you get your guy in, it goes back and forth, Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat, and everyone's like, oh, next time. It's the same thing, right?
So,
now, I will admit,
Dave, let me ask you a question. So are these elections real? Is there anything real about these elections? Is there anything actually being chosen?
There may be where the vote actually does get to choose, but both sides are the same team. People don't realize that. It's the same team. Now, the story of Trump is a great story. America has more hope with the things that Trump says, but everything he says is the opposite of what he does. I mean, in the previous election, 2017 or whatever year it was, he said to Hillary, "If I was in charge, you'd be in jail." And then at the next, he gets elected, and he honors the Clintons as the most upstanding, greatest people on earth.
And he personally ended the investigations against Hillary Clinton himself. He ordered that.
Yeah. I mean, you look. I mean, Trump is Space Force. If you look into that, the emblem, the Space Force emblem is literally Baphomet. Turn Trump's hat upside down, the Space Force one, and it's literally Baphomet. It's incredible. So he's pushing fake space. He, I don't know how much we can say on this radio station, but that Pennsylvania rally where he almost got taken out was completely staged, 100% staged.
You could say it out loud.
I
think it's the most ridiculous assassination attempt I've ever seen in my life. It's a complete hoax. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And his ear got blown off, and then there's no, they said half his ear got blown off. Oh, and then there's this little nick. Even if it was a little nick, there'd be way more blood. There was no blood. And then it was healed. There's no scar. There's no nothing. It's the dumbest thing ever. If anyone wants to learn about that, stoplookthink.com, go to Trump assassination, and watch the breakdown there, and then you'll know.
Dave, at the very next week at the Republican convention, hold on, Brian, I'm going to go right to you. The very next week, he's at the Republican convention. He's got the big thing on his ear, and he's like, there was blood all over my hand. There was blood all over the place. And you look
and there wasn't.
No blood on his head.
Yeah.
Did you know, Dave, it took 1 minute and 59 seconds to clear him off the stage and slowly walk him over to an SUV.
Yeah.
Now I know
and all he cared about was his shoes. Yeah. Where's my shoe? If you know the symbolism of a shoe missing.
There was a threat against Trump in 2016, right before the 2016 election. And the Secret Service had him off the stage and out the back of the auditorium in 5 seconds. But somehow a minute and 58 seconds it takes to get him into an SUV. It's completely fraudulent. But Brian, let's let Brian speak because he wanted to. Go ahead, Brian. What else do you want to give us today?
Well, so as long as Flat Earth Dave is here, I've got something for him. Dave, can you tell me what map projection the Flat Earth model depends on?
Well, the best map we have is the AE map, the Gleason's map that was taken out of all encyclopedias, all school books, everything in the late 1950s. It's the one that's used for navigation. It's the one that autopilots use, and it's the one that actually works. Now, is it perfect? I don't know. I'm not a cartographer. I don't have access to all of these places, but it's way better than the globe.
You don't know. So you don't know what the map projection is, right?
Well, you say that it's a projection of the globe, but the AE map was around long before the globe was.
Every map is a projection.
Well, I understand that. Maps. It's called the muffled equidistant map. I know. You're not educating me on this. I know all of that. The thing is...
Well, then why didn't you tell me when I asked you?
Well, I told you the AE map. Do you want me to spell it out for you?
Okay.
It's Gleason's azimuthal equidistant map.
Brian, I have the map hanging in my office. If you want to come by here in Johnstown, I'll show you the map. It's hanging in my office.
I know what it looks like. It has the North Pole as the center, correct?
Yep.
Okay, now, suppose you wanted to fly from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia.
Yep.
Okay. On your Flat Earth map, how would you go?
It's a long ways. There's two ways to go. You can go straight up across America. and over, or you can go out towards the end. Yeah, or you can go out towards the end and catch those 350-mile-an-hour tailwinds on the Dreamliner that can go much faster than they tell us, and it makes perfect sense. I'll address that when we come back from the thing, because we actually had somebody on a flight with a compass, and it proves flat Earth.
Yes, hang with us, Brian, because this is a good point that you brought up. There's no nonstop flights from South America to South Africa unless you do what Dave just said. But on a globe Earth, you could do it. Welcome back to Half Empty Cup of Joe, 877-536-1360. Call or text. Brian, hang with us. Dave, continue on about flying from South America to South Africa and how it's kind of impossible to do unless you do it the way you said.
Right. So on a globe map, it makes perfect sense. Hold on, I'm talking. Well, so on a globe map from Santiago to Australia or New Zealand, you should just fly right over Antarctica or right next to it, and it's a relatively short flight, but it's not. The only plane that does that direct without stopping is the Dreamliner. I forget the number, but and that plane has 7 layers of heat-resistant paint. Why does it have that? Is it going faster than they tell us? And it also flies well above 45,000 feet. And there's circling winds up there that go up to 350 miles an hour. So that's one way that they do it. And you know that airlines take advantage of tailwinds, because why wouldn't they? Save time, save fuel. If with those tailwinds on a globe, the plane would have to fly like 350 miles an hour to make it take as long as it takes. On a flat Earth, the times work perfectly. But besides that, we had Max Egan, a globe believer, who said, hey, I'm taking that flight. Let's do a live stream. So we live streamed him getting on the plane. We tracked the plane the whole way. Now, the tracking it showed us a globe projection. But what happened was he took compass readings on what directions. And he said it was weird because he thought he would be going southwest or southeast. And then northeast or northwest, whatever it was. I have to go back and look. And his compass readings didn't make much sense to him. But when we laid it out on a flat Earth, if you draw a line from Santiago to Australia, he would be going northwest, then he'd be going west, then he'd be going southwest, and then he'd be going south. That's what a flat Earth dictates, and those are the exact compass readings he had. So there you go. Where's your globe proof?
Okay, can I speak now?
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, number one, the 787 is certified only to 37,000 feet. Okay, that's number one. They do not fly above that.
Oh, you're wrong.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
No, that's because the documents say it from the people that are the people that are deceiving you. You believe everything they say. NASA says that we went to the moon. That's a fact. They said that we went to the moon.
I happen to know this fact.
Did you ever test it? Did you ever test the plane out yourself to see if it can go higher?
You don't.
What if it's classified?
It's certified for 37.
It's certified to your level of classification. Top secretly, maybe it goes to 50,000 feet. Why does it have 7 layers of heat-resistant paint on it? Did they tell you?
It does not have 7 layers of heat-resistant paint.
Yes, it does. You're wrong.
No, it doesn't.
How do you know that? Did you check?
Prove it.
There was an article on it. Boeing listed an article on it.
What's your article? What's your proof?
Dude.
Well, when Flat Earth, hold on, Brian. When Flat Earth Dave came on the air today, he's not going to have every fact in his noggin. That's why you go to flatearthdave.com. A lot of the evidence is sitting there. That's why he developed the website. So, yes, Brian, you backed him into a corner a little bit because he doesn't have your exact knowledge, but you don't have the proofs either. We're all going off of what everybody, the information that we've been exposed to. The
compass readings that Max Egan took actually only work on a flat Earth. It doesn't work the other way. So he took actual compass readings. Are you going to deny that?
Okay, yeah. We heard that. Now, going from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia, using your map, you would fly a straight line that would take you across all of South America, all across North America, fly over Alaska, and
No, it
onward
wouldn't.
on to...
Incorrect.
Yes, it would. On your flat Earth map...
No, it wouldn't.
Exactly,
You would leave Chile, you would leave Santiago, and you would be out over the ocean.
Not according to your map.
I'm looking at the map right now. You'd leave, you'd go over the ocean. A straight line does not go over South America. You're leaving from the tip of South America, which is the farthest point, and you will fly over the ocean the whole way. And it doesn't go perfectly straight. It does find those circling winds, which are out south a little farther. So it goes out south and gets a 200 to 350 mile an hour sail wind. No, I'm looking at it right now. You're incorrect. You're wrong.
Brian,
you're wrong.
Brian, if you really study the hold on. Brian, if you really did study the flat Earth model, it would be easier for you to understand what Dave is saying to you. The only disconnect I hear here is, Brian, is that if you look at the way Dave is telling you it works perfectly. Now, listen to me, Brian. I've never...
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it does. I've looked at this stuff.
Okay, Jason, I have a little challenge for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Take a look at some of the cities that airlines fly. Look at their flight times and distances, and compare that to Flat Earth Dave's map, and see if
they all work.
The planes actually fly jive with Flat Earth Dave's map.
Let me address this one. So going from New Zealand to Argentina, if you look at that on a globe, a FlightAware says it's a quick shot flight right next to Antarctica, and right over, but it doesn't go there. It goes. The flight route goes from New Zealand across the equator to San Francisco, then across the United States to Houston, Texas, and then all the way back down south to Argentina. That is crazy. Look at it on a globe. New Zealand, San Francisco.
Okay,
Hold
Dave,
on. I'm almost done. I'm still
Dave.
talking. So I'll repeat myself because you interrupted. New Zealand to San Francisco to Houston, Texas to Argentina. That's the flight route. But if you look at it on a flat map, my map, it's a perfectly straight line.
Are you done?
Did you hear what I said?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Are you going to address it?
Okay, Dave, riddle me this, Dave.
Yeah,
this
you call
true.
in every week
okay.
and you haven't learned anything yet.
If this is all true, Dave, then explain to me this conspiracy that is millions and millions of people are involved in this conspiracy.
Are they? How do you know
airlines,
that? How do you know? No,
pilots.
that's not true. That's not true.
One commercial pilot that believes in flat Earth.
What, okay. How about if I call one up right now and patch him in? How about if I bring a Delta pilot on right now? How about you made a statement.
You let me finish?
No, because you said no commercial pilots. There's hundreds of them.
Dave.
Thousands of them.
Hold on.
And we have them on video.
You're such a putz, Dave.
Well, hold on, Brian. Let me come in. Hold on a second. Let me come in real quick. So Brian, once again, go to flatearthdave.com. Look at the thing that you hate.
No, I'm not going to go to Flat Earth.
Right, but see, Brian, hold on, Dave. I've dealt with Brian for years. Brian, but that's always been your problem. If you would look at the thing you hate, then if you can prove it's wrong...
It's not that I hate. It's not that I hate.
You love the flat Earth?
It's that I know that it's wrong. Explain to me
hold on a second.
Why so many people are involved in this conspiracy. Dave, what is at the edge of the Earth? What's on the boundary?
You learned nothing in all these times you called it. Nothing.
What's at the edge of your flat Earth?
Amazing.
We're going to a commercial, guys. Hang with us. 877-536-1360. Call or text.
All right. The 50 Cup,
Let me jump in.
Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
So he said he makes a comment and he doesn't want to hear the answer that no pilot is in on it. On my app, all the pilots and scientists in on it. One of the videos has 28 commercial pilots speaking out. We have another video of military pilots speaking out. We've interviewed pilots that are speaking out saying the Earth is flat. I have numerous commercial airline pilots that I speak to regularly, and sometimes I call them live when I'm on a show and bring them on to verify what they say. So he says no pilot knows when most of them know.
Not one of them knows.
So if I prove to you that wasn't the case, yeah. So again, he won't look at the. You know what? It's time to move on to another caller because he's very hopeless.
Agreed.
Let's let Brian. Let Brian have one. Brian, hold on a minute. Brian,
deny reality.
Hold on a minute, Brian. Please give us the last comment, please.
Is Flat Earth Dave going to be at the picnic?
I have not talked to Flat Earth about
picnic?
we have the picnic at the park here at the radio station, Dave. I haven't talked to you. It's the Saturday after this one in 9 days.
I will
be
there.
All right. Brian's going to be. Now everyone's going to show up because Brian's going to. Brian, I want to thank you. I really do want to meet you at the park. It's going to be a good time. For everybody listening, and especially you, Flat Earth Dave, here in Johnstown where the radio station is in Colorado, we're having the picnic at the park. Almost all the show hosts, almost all the advertisers are going to show up. We're going to have a lot food, fun, and friends. It's going to be a cool time. So you are absolutely invited if you want to contact me after the show, Dave. And
it's a long hike. Yeah,
I know. I know.
Sorry.
I'm not going to. I had a feeling, but as long as you keep coming on the air and giving us these great shows, I am super enthused that you're here on the air with us.
It's amazing. It's amazing. We lay out proofs, and then the Globers go, nah. And we show them the proofs, and all they have is nah. You know, we say, well, here's 28 pilots admitting it on video, proving their credentials. Nah, that's all they have.
I know, Dave. I know. I love the people that believe differently than me, Dave. You're much more coarse, which I find you know your stuff way better than I know it. Your belief, your understanding, your knowledge of this is above mine. I'm crawling your way faster and faster. Gun to my head, someone says, "Is it flat or is it a ball?" I say, "Yeah, it's flat," because the ball is provably wrong. But Dave, as I've told you before, I was like, sometimes I don't even know what reality is. Sometimes I think the thing that we call reality is completely false, and then in that situation, we could be wrong. It might not be flat or a ball. It could be a completely abstract concept. But we have another call. Let's keep the callers rolling. Flat Earth Dave is a guest today. Call us at 877-536-1360. You can text, and Joe will read the text here in a moment. Rick, thanks for coming on. You're up next. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, I have your app now, and I've been looking at some videos off and on. I don't have a lot of time to look at videos, but I look at some, and I find them fascinating. Last Friday, I lucked out, and I clicked on your video of the day. And, Brian, if you're listening still, you can find this on YouTube if you don't want to pay the $2.50 for Dave's app.
$3. It's $3.
$3. It's called Flat Earthers versus Physics Professor. And, Brian, if you're listening, man, Dave, if nobody watches any other video but that's the best video you've ever had, man. And that guy, he was a gentleman about things. And you may have convinced him. I don't know. You've probably talked to him since then. But and you mentioned something that had popped into my head before I saw that video. But I began to, so I'm coming around to your side big time. But I got to thinking, and you mentioned this thing about the Earth spinning and the atmosphere must be Velcro to the planet. But even the scientific understanding of that would be that, no, the Earth is going to spin inside of this atmosphere that supposedly surrounds it. And the wind at the equator would be 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, I stick my head out the window at 70 and my glasses blow off. If you're in Chicago...
They say because the Earth is topographical, so it's like bumpy, and over the billions of years of spinning, it has made all of the atmosphere finally catch up with it and spin you spin as one unit, which is ridiculous. We have air that goes left and right, summer breezes that go left and right. We can watch clouds at different depths going in opposite directions. It's crazy.
Yeah, why do clouds wisp around up there, like nothing's going on? If you were in Chicago, and Chicago is even windy, it'd still be 500 miles an hour. There would be nothing alive on the planet if it's wailing through 1,000 miles an hour of wind, for eternity. So if
you were in a helicopter at the North Pole, you're just spinning around like a ballerina as the Earth spins. So you're not really moving at all. Flight helicopter to Ecuador. Now you have to land on a runway that's moving sideways at over 1,000 miles an hour. How's that going to happen?
Right.
That's the globe.
Oh, go ahead, Rick. We have more callers, but go ahead, Rick. One more.
you brought this up, Dave. That this has made the Bible easier for me to read now. See, I think the globe Earth is supposed to confuse you and make you doubt from page 1 that maybe the Bible doesn't mean what it says. Right?
Absolutely. When I was go ahead. Sorry.
No, from page 1. So I got to thinking, Dave. Well, when did they come up with the globe theory anyway? So just a Google search. Pythagoras was the first guy that postulated a globe theory in 500 BC. So then I got to thinking,
if you believe that story. But go ahead.
What was that? No, Rick, I didn't catch that. What was that again? What was the name of that story?
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras. You know, he was a Greek philosopher at 500 BC. Pythagorean theorem. He was a mathematician, all that crap. And so he put out the globe theory. So then I got to thinking, well, when was the Bible written? So the Bible was written between 1500 BC and 500 BC. So what we understand as flat earthers is that the globe theory is Satan's big lie to make us not believe the Bible.
There you go.
If the Old Testament was written from 1500 to 500 BC, and then Pythagoras in 500 BC says, there's a globe now, is that just Satan talking through him and saying, look, now you can't believe anything the Bible says? Start one.
All right, Rick, thank you. Roland, if you can. Is that your guy, Dave? Roland?
No.
Okay, Roland, you'll be up next. 877-536-1360. We'll be back with Flat Earth Dave.
Yes, I told him to remember that, because that's another damning fact. Will you listen? When it comes to a street near you, probably no amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot. No amount of evidence, it seems. No amount of showing you 100 or 1,000 proofs will ever get your blinded eyes to see. Oh, no amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot. No amount of evidence, it seems. How quickly with your condemnation without real investigation sounds like ignorance to me. Well, how about this observation?
Is that Brian's intro song?
Well,
I said it. You didn't say it. I said it.
Go ahead, Joe. Let's keep on talking.
Well, let's see here. We had a ton of emails. I really wanted to get into this whole nuclear thing. Then we went
then Brian
sideways.
Then Brian came on.
All roads lead to flat Earth. Oh.
Right? One of the callers said, hey, the callers should remain on topic or cut them loose, right? Because, we're getting ready to talk about nuclear. Stop wasting time with this idiot. Take it away from great guests like Dave. Why does Brian always say there's no evidence in the 2020 steal? Has he actually looked for himself or just listened to the media reportedly telling everyone there's no evidence? There's tons of evidence. I looked at a lot of it myself, but I had to make the effort and not just wait for someone to tell me the answer. There's plenty of evidence.
Did you watch 2,000 Mules?
Yeah, 2,000 Mules. Dinesh D'Souza. I don't listen. I don't know, and I don't care because I'm with Jason. It really didn't matter who the hell you voted for until Brian checks out Dave's websites. His arguments and insults are meaninless and a waste of time. It should be a short distance for Dave to get to the picnic if the Earth is flat. Now that was funny.
That's not funny. It's the same on a flat Earth and a globe Earth.
Program. Unacknowledged Special Access Program, USAP. Go ahead and argue facts all day. So there you go. Those were the texters. The original texter, by the way, if nukes aren't real.
Really?
Explain the increased radiation and supposed explosion sites, please. Not trying to be a jerk, generally curious.
Well, real quick before Flat Earth Dave. Hey, if Alex, Conspiracy Music Guru, if you're listening, call in. I'd love to hear. Alex, I play your songs on my shows regularly. I've been playing them for years. Alex, if you're on our Rumble page, if you're tuning in, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to put you as a guest on my show, by the way, Alex. So if you want to give me some contact info, or if I can get it through Dave, Love to have you, man. But yeah, Conspiracy Music Guru, if that's him, I think that's him. He's liking his music being played on the show here. We have a caller Roland coming in, but go ahead, Dave. You first, and then we'll put Roland in.
You wanted my answer to the radiation thing?
Yes, please.
There's a guy named Windsor Galen in the 1950s that went around trying to show that that plutonium is not dangerous. He would eat it, and he would swim in the pools at the nuclear reactors. So, then again, nuclear reactors are real. But all they are is steam engines. They boil water with plutonium, and they turn pistons. That's it. That's why all the steam is coming out of the top of a nuclear reactor. But the radiation from bombs, I don't know what he's talking about, because plants, people, and animal have thrived in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and everyone was just living their life 3 days later. So there you go.
Roland, if you do us the honor, Roland, of sticking through this long break, I'll put you on, I swear to you, on the other side of this break.
I may know who Roland is. So.
Okay, hang on, Roland. 877-536-1360. Call or text us. We got Flat Earth Dave for one more hour. You're listening to the Half Empty Cup of Joe, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Roar of the Rockies, 1360 AM, KHNC, Johnstown, Greeley, Loveland, Fort Collins.
A friend of mine once told me to do a search online. Search for photos of Earth, he said. This will blow your mind. So I opened up the Google and I looked for photos of Earth. Well, a lot of photos came up. He said, click on the first. He said, that's the famous blue marble that everybody's seen. We've seen this photo 1,000 times upon our TV screen. But let me tell you something about that famous shot. It's not a photo at all, man. It was made in Photoshop, cause there ain't no photographs, but somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a clone, no, none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? He was goddamn right. That shit did blow my mind. Because I thought the blue marble was a photo all this time. Well, don't you think that's strange? He said suspiciously. Now, the fact that it ain't a photo seems pretty weird to me. I mean, the most important photo that man could ever take? This huge, iconic image turns out to be a fake? Well, I couldn't quite believe it, man. I was pretty shocked. I needed further proof that this photo's photoshopped. He said, look up Robert Simon. He made that cartoon ball. He's the guy you should research. He works for NASA and all. He openly admits that it's all just artistry. He said, and I quote, it's photoshopped, but it has to be. There ain't no photographs, but somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a clone, no, none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? Yep, every photo of the Earth is artist trickery. All the photos on Google, man, are as fake can be. Download all the photos and put them side by side. Compare all the continents. They're each a different size. Compare all the colors, each globe a different shade. If all of these were photos, man, they should look the damn same. Where's the continuity? There's none. No, none at all. All that NASA gives us is a bunch of cartoon balls, cause there ain't no photographs, but somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a clone, no, none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? Now we're supposed to have this telescope, right, that's flying past the stars, taking beautiful photos of Jupiter and Mars. Well, I've got a small suggestion, NASA. Here's something you could do. point that thing at planet Earth and take a shot or two, because there should be goddamn thousands of photos of where we live. But Hubble ain't taken one. That's suspicious, don't you think? We got all these fancy pictures of spinning galaxies, but not one goddamn photo of the Earth for us to see. Cause there ain't no photographs, but somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a clone, no none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? There ain't no photographs, but somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a clone, no none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball?
This is your half-empty cup of Joe. This show is hosted by Joe Jaquint and Jason Walker, because half a cup is better than no cup.
All right, the half-empty cup of Joe here on a Thursday, 877-536-1360. Give us your texts, give us your phone calls. One thing I want to say, I love Brian calling on the air. I love all if I can get more guys like Brian calling on the air, it makes the show so much better. What makes Brian so good is that he stands his position, whether he's right or wrong or indifferent. I love these guys. Brian, if you can recruit an army of your friends to call bomb this show, I would love to just debate these things back and forth. It makes for great radio, and it makes for people. It makes people think. That's all I want. I want people to stop watching the television and regurgitating what the media is telling you, because there's so much more truth and interesting things going on than the parroted crap that you have on your cell phone. But I made Roland wait a long time. Daniel, you'll be up next. JT, you're following, and then we'll have some texts. Roland, thanks for the long wait. You're up.
Yeah, thank God I'm not wearing high heels. One of the things I got to tell you right now is gets me is, I got buddies that go out and shoot guns, right? And one of them sent me a video a while back where the U.S. Marines are saying that their snipers are trained to adjust for the Coriolis effect, correct?
That's what they say.
You guys ever, that's what they say, right? So here's my thing, all right? I lost a ton of money this past fall betting on a football game because I knew once I figured this out that punters in football have to adjust to the Coriolis effect, because a punt in football lasts longer than the sniper's bullet in the air. I knew that big fat pigskin is going to stay in the air long enough, and I'm like, the punters have got to be the smartest people in the world. They know how to adjust to the spinning of the earth. And they're smarter than all these military guys that have put their life on the line to save a man like me.
That's a great point, and he's getting that from Neil deGrasse Tyson. There was some champion football game.
Oh,
Neil
deGrasse
said the field goal.
Let me say this with Flatter Dave.
The field goal was made because of the
literally
the spin of
Neil
the
deGrasse Tyson was actually going through the science of how the record field goal was made, and he went so in detail, didn't he, Dave? He was like, he would not have won that game if it wasn't for the rotation of the earth. It was so bad.
And a lot of people say that.
Who's Neil deGrasse Tyson?
He's a scientist, and he's so intelligent, and he's such a great guy.
You know, just a year or two ago, the world record long-distance rifle shot was taken. It was over 4 miles. I think the bullet was in the air for like 20 seconds or 27 seconds or something like that. And they said they calculated for heat, wind, drop, but not Coriolis. So game over.
All right, Roland, thank you for the call. Do you have one more thing, Roland?
Here's what. Can I add this to it?
Go for it.
Every gun barrel has a relief lathe cut into it. So when the bullet comes out, it comes out in its trajectory. It's going to come out with a spin like a spiral. And over time, that's how a curveball works in baseball. You got to put a spin on the ball to get it to curve. And the bullet over time is going to start catching up to the friction in the air and start curving away. That's all it is. But all I can say is, Dave, keep up whatever you're doing because you're blowing people's minds, and I just appreciate what you're saying. I appreciate what you're saying, man.
Thanks, Roland.
Yeah. All right. Joe, do you have something to say before we go to the next caller?
No, let's get these callers rolling.
Let's keep them rolling. Next up, if you want to call in, 877-536-1360. Call or text. Daniel, thanks for calling. You're up.
Yeah, Dave, Jason, great show. I agree. Brian is a good highlight. It just shows once you believe something that the world's round, you're forever pigeonholed in there. I don't think he could even understand it because his whole world would collapse. He would realize everything's a lie. And so some people just can't even fathom that. And if NASA really wanted to put this to bed, why don't they take one of those big telescopes that's out in space that can look, way out in other universes, just turn that around, show the ball, show me a ship on the bottom of the Earth going around. Good. Okay, cool. They won't do that because they can't.
Anything, Daniel, thank you for the call. Anything else?
No, great show. Keep it coming. Everybody, they're waking up, hopefully.
Thanks,
NASA
Dan.
said that the Hubble saw a galaxy in detail 13.4 billion light years away. Now, we've asked them to point the Hubble at the moon and show us the flag and the moon lander, which is only 237,000 miles away. So just to give you a reference, 1 light year is 24 million times farther than the moon, right? So 24 million times 13.4 billion of that, and they can see it, but they can't look at the moon and see the moon lander? Come on.
Let's get another caller in, 877-536-1360. We love the back and forth. We'll get the textures here in a moment, maybe on the next segment. JT, thanks for holding on. You're up. Go ahead.
Hey, how's my audio?
Your audio's great. Go for it, man.
Okay, fantastic. So I've been looking into the shape of the Earth and a lot of other, quote-unquote conspiracy theories for the last 3.5 years. And the positive that has come is I'm distilling my water now. I'm looking at what's going into my body as far as like the additives and the colors. I'm in a community with many people that are just waking up and coming together. So I feel like we're in a world that's pushing deception and darkness and lies. And I don't think we're moving 1.9 million miles per 24 hours. I think the Earth is stationary. It's a topographical plane. And the luminaries, or stars, they rotate above us as they have for thousands of years. So, yeah, I mean, people fight it because of cognitive dissonance. People feel real uncomfortable about a lie this big, but we're not moving.
JT, you know whose opinion matters the most?
Well said.
Guess whose opinion matters the most, JT? JT, whose opinion matters the most? Think about it. It's yours.
I mean,
it's yours.
Right.
My opinion matters the most. See, the thing is, we don't have men anymore. One thing about Brian, he's sticking to his story, right? The problem when you put your device up to your face or you're watching television mindlessly and not controlling your video footage, you're paying attention to somebody else's opinion. And if you want to get facts separate from opinions, you better think, right?
Absolutely.
We got Flat Earth Dave, 877-536-1360. We'll be right back.
Here, the half-empty cup, Joe and Jason, along with Flat Earth Dave. Reality is God's construct with our participation. Dave, looking up at my ceiling, the fan is spinning counterclockwise. Everywhere I stand in my flat-floored room, the blades spin counterclockwise. counterclockwise. If I stand north and I look south, the blades move east to west, but it's still moving counterclockwise looking up. Only when I get a ladder and look down do the blades now move clockwise. It proves a globe.
Yeah. Wrong. So this is a little harder to understand. When you're looking at the clock, the fan on your ceiling, it's just making a very small circle. It's not covering your whole ceiling. Now imagine your room, expand your room so it's like, 50 yards across, and expand those blades to go all the way to the edges of the room. And now it's spinning. So when you look towards the center, it's going counterclockwise. But when you turn around and look at those blades, they're now going clockwise. And then the optics of the sky, due to perspective, as things approach, they arch up, and then they go away, they arch down. And due to the shape of the probable firmament up there, you get counter-rotating stars. But looking at it towards the center, you see it going counterclockwise. Then you just turn around, and those blades are swinging over your head from your left shoulder to your right shoulder. They're going clockwise. Turn around again, look at the center. They're going from your right shoulder to your left shoulder. Yep. They're going counterclockwise. Suck it up. Hey, is JT still on the line?
JT is still there. Well, I think we have one more text, Joe, before we get to JT back.
Well, yeah, the one texter, he's not happy with Dave either. Hey, Joe and Jason, long time listening here. When are you going to get that fraud wacko Dave off your radio? Your credibility is slipping. Can Dave really pay up 1 Bitcoin to be proven wrong? Doubt so. So, Dave, you got a couple of naysayers.
It's 3 Bitcoins. Well, is that your best globe proof? There's my question to him.
Right.
They always come up with attacks and this and that, but they never offer a globe proof. All you need is 1 proof exclusive to the globe, and you win 3 Bitcoins. Not 1, 3.
Let's get JT back on. Freddie's next, then Rick. Go ahead, JD. You had one more quick thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one quick comment. So in this journey I've been on, I've met some amazing people, like a F-16 pilot that's a flat earther. And then if you look up markgober.com, he's a graduate of Princeton, magna cum laude. He wrote a book called An End to the Upside Down Cosmos. And Stephen A. Young, he has a master's in theoretical physics and a PhD in nuclear theoretical physics, walked away from it all, and he has a book called A Fool's Wisdom. Both fantastic books, and Dave gets a shout-out in both of them. So thanks, Dave, for everything you're doing, and thanks for taking my comments.
Thanks, JT.
Peace.
Excellent. All right, let's go to the next caller. Jack, put in Freddie for me. Freddie, you're up, man. Thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that I agree with Dave as far as the existence of nuclear bombs. They don't exist because the testing that they did out in Nevada, those were hydrogen bombs, but what they did is they put low uranium in them, and those are the same bombs that were used during World War II on Japan. There's never been a nuclear bomb that went off anywhere in the world, so we really don't know if they would have this nuclear winter they claim and all this other stuff. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Yep. Again, check out all the
work
that's been done on my
right?
website.
Chernobyl, they've got all kinds of wildlife and everything else in Chernobyl, but they show these readings,
people living there.
That the radiation and all that.
There's still people living there. Radiation is free energy. We don't have. They're not letting us. It doesn't. They say the half-life is like 11,000 years. People were working 3 days later. There's still people that live in Chernobyl and they're fine. Plants, people, and animals are super healthy.
Dave, we had a guest. Again, we have a guest that used to come on the air here, and he brought some really good information about this subject. And he had a friend, an acquaintance that worked at a nuclear reactor. And he said the guy swam in the water for better health.
Yeah, that's Galen Windsor. That's what I was talking about before. And he would take the plutonium tablets and lick them, put the dust on his hand, and eat the dust, and drink the water, and swim in the water, and he was fine. And excuse me.
That's okay, Dave. Here in Colorado. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that there's all sorts of, they don't want you to know about radium engines, and people use radium for health and for heating their homes, but all of that's been taken away from us.
So Dave, in Colorado, it's been about 2 decades. I switched my water source to El Dorado water, which is here in Colorado, and kind of in the Boulder Mountains. And the same guy that used to come on, he talked about how, because my health got dramatically better after switching to a high quality water. And I was told that there's uranium in those mountains, and so because it's spring water, that I'm probably getting radiated water, and it's probably increased my health in the last 2 decades since I've been drinking it. I have purified water that comes into my home because I want my public water to be as clean as possible. And I use it for cooking and some other things. And these guys get crazy. If I can remember the company's name, but they get crazy. Like, well, why are you drinking that? And you have purified water coming in. It's like, well, I want my ice cubes to be good. I don't want to shower in chlorine. I want to get that. He's like, well, why won't you drink? It's like, well, because I got better water to drink. Even the World Water Purifier guys, they can't believe this, that I would actually pay for water and pay for sanitized water coming into the house. It's like, look, I mean, I feel like my brain has been working better in the last couple of decades versus when I was younger, and I felt like I had a cloud over my head.
If people only knew the power of water, and that water, one drop of water holds terabytes of information. Water is, they're lying to us about water and about air. Both of those things are related because both can be made out of each other. So, again, everything in this world is a lie, and there's people like Brian that will never, ever be able to see it. But that's okay. We need Brian's because it gives us contrast.
Well, and Brian, I'll say this: he's come, in my mind, he's come a long way. I mean, he used to be like angry and visceral towards the content on this station. Now he at least listens to a certain amount of it. He still contests it, but Brian's history, he's been government from birth until retirement. Military, college, public high school. His job was government contracted stuff, and it's hard to snap out of the lies that you talk about, Dave, when your entire life is wrapped around the government, because the government's giving us all the lies to begin with.
It's easier to fool somebody than to convince them they've been fooled. You can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think.
Real quick, let's go to Rick. Rick, thanks for calling back in. Go ahead, man. You're up.
Dave, you're unstumpable. And I can understand that severe doubters would not want to patronize your website, but I would invite severe doubters to just Google the globe Earth theory, and Wikipedia has a story about it. So they might believe Wikipedia. And there's a chart where they've had over the eons, different scientists and philosophers have measured or calculated the circumference of the Earth. A guy back in 300 BC calculated it 24,300 miles. And in 2011, the World Geographic Survey just slightly amended his numbers to 24,700 miles. So are we using a number that's 2,500 years old for the circumference of the globe?
Well, they tell the story of Eratosthenes with his sticks and shadows, which is just a ridiculous story if you break it down. But again, it's a made-up math equation. It works. The results he got work the same on a flat Earth, but they don't ever want to point that out to you.
Yeah, I doubt I could come up with a tidbit that you haven't thought of before. But on that same Wikipedia page, there's like a motion photograph supposedly taken from a survey satellite of the globe. And it's 24 images taken an hour apiece to show an entire rotation of the globe, and it moves on the Wikipedia page. I invite everybody to go look at it. I looked at it like 50 times, and as the globe comes around back to where the United States is, you watch the clouds as they go. And at 24 hours, not a single cloud has changed shape or location.
Oh yeah, the clouds didn't change in 24 hours worldwide. They're getting better, though. Their animations are getting better with AI. They've gotten it to the point where we're not going to know what's true at all. Like when the WikiLeaks or the Epstein files come out, and you see Hillary Clinton, eating something that you shouldn't be eating, they're going to just say it's AI, and no one's going to believe it.
So artificial intelligence is obviously going to make it easier for lies to be constructed and be proven to be this false truth. But let me ask you this, Dave. I've said this on the air.
Truths to be hidden.
I've said this on the air, Dave. Is there such a thing as artificial intelligence? I say on the air that that's a complete false thing. There's no such thing as humans creating actual artificial intelligence. I think it's impossible.
Well, the jury's still out, but AI, I don't think it's an algorithm at all. And again, this is just me theorizing. They're tapping into some other intelligence that that maybe we shouldn't be tapping into.
Demons.
It's interesting. Yeah, demons. I don't want to say it, but I'll say it. Demons.
So artificial intelligence is demons.
It could be. I mean, there's some stuff, that's coming out. There's some weird stuff like, things that are said to kids and there's some very weird stuff. But again, if you are right with God, if you are right and are thinking clearly, we can use their tools against them. Like our smartphones are literally tracking devices. However, we can use them against them. We're using the internet against them. We're using ways to communicate against them. And eventually we will win because we are right.
Well, I just got to be careful how many demons I hang out with on a daily basis. Because it seems like AI is going to be surrounding us pretty soon when it comes to this technology, Dave.
It's incredible what you can do. So,
all right. Well, Rick, thanks for the call. Do you have anything else for us?
I was just going to say Wikipedia hasn't updated their technology yet. So just go look at that photo, and you will doubt. It will introduce doubt into your mind about the globe. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. Joe, do you have a comment for us? Any text I can...
Well, I did ask, since you guys brought up AI, I said, what the heck? I think this is DeepSeek that I asked. No, the Earth is not flat. Scientific evidence overwhelmingly supports that the Earth is an oblate spheroid, meaning it's mostly spherical but slightly flattened at the poles and bulging at the equator. This has been confirmed through various methods, including satellite imagery, observation of the horizon, circumnavigation, and the way gravity works. The idea of a flat Earth is a misconception that has been debunked by centuries of scientific research and observation.
And my answer to that is, can you name one specific thing that debunks it? And the answer is no, you cannot, because there are none.
When we get on the other side, I have a comment about it. Dave, I can actually in one way look at that what Joe just talked to us about as being correct. I'm going to tell you why I think what was said that was correct when we get back.
All right, we're back here. The half-empty cup, 877-536-1360. Pretty funny. The texter that texted in about God, he said that my smartphone was recording the radio word for word, and on its own texted us, reality is God's construct with our participation. The guy's like, I didn't do that. My phone just did it for me. Kind of funny. Hey, you know what? All kinds of the Lord works in mysterious ways. So we'll just leave it at that. Kind of interesting. Great show as always. Speaking of AI, I believe we as humans are building a vessel for demons to possess. Demon possession is a human can't really do much. And can still be driven out since we have a soul. But AI will run everything, and it doesn't have a soul. If it gets advanced enough to be able to think for itself, demons can possess it and control everything globally. Listen, I don't know about demons. I don't know about, being possessed. But I will tell you 1,000%. This AI will be used to control. There's no doubt about that in my mind, Jason.
Ask that AI, Joe, because as we're going into the commercial break, I actually believe that the AI question or the answer, Joe, was in one view it can be correct. Ask the AI, is the flat Earth fake a fact or something to construct it that way. Ask if is it a fact that the Earth is not flat. Ask it, see if it'll say it's a fact. Because Dave, I don't know if you heard it the way I heard it when Joe was reading it. It said it was scientifically proven not to be flat. Well, scientifically means whatever evidence you put into a model will produce a theory of what the reality is. So, I
just said, is the flat Earth model a fact? Flat Earth model is not considered a scientific fact.
See, they're using science.
Overwhelming
right.
Scientific experts, the oblate spheroid, blah, 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 blah. And then they say, evidence to supporting the spherical nature of Earth includes satellite images, the way a ship disappears hull first over the horizon, phenomenon of lunar eclipses where the Earth's shadow on the moon is always round, the way different constellations are visible from different latitudes, and then the measurements of gravity and curvature consistent with spherical Earth.
Okay. I'm going to go to Dave, but real quick, Joe also asked, is the globe Earth model a fact? Ask that one. But go ahead, Dave. You heard what I was saying.
So hang on. So basically, everything that it said there is just a fallacy. Boats disappear over the horizon because of obfuscation from the water. It's due to perspective. We show this. We can zoom in on boats that are far beyond the physical horizon. Limits of a globe. Stars are seen different. Like you can't see the North Star from the south.
Well, Dave, hold on. Let me stop you real quick for just a moment, Dave. Let me stop you. But all of those things can be evidence, wrong or right. All those things can be evidence towards a scientific theory, though. If you have a science, hold on. Well, the things that he's saying, that I know that you understand it to be false. If you use that as your evidence for your science, then it's a scientific theory. It's science. But science is never meant to be fact. In fact, science is never fact. Science is always the proven idea until someone else comes and proves it to be different. I didn't hear the AI. The AI didn't actually lie to us. It didn't lie to us. It just said it's scientifically proven.
It's not scientifically proven. It's usually literally using pseudoscience. What if you were sitting in your yard and your neighbor walked up to the 5-foot-high fence and you could see him from the shoulders up? Then he walked away. Now you're lower than that fence. He's going to disappear from the bottom of his head to the top of his head. My scientific theory says that he's walking down a hill. Right? That's just a theory. It doesn't. It works perfectly on a flat Earth too, on a flat yard. Everything that they bring up is provably not the case.
I think you missed my point. So let me do something really. I'll just do something real simple. I remember when Barack Obama went on TV one day at time and said 2 + 2 = 5. Now, if I said the science proves that 2 + 2 = 5 because Barack Obama told it to us. If the evidence you're going to use in your science is Barack Obama saying it's 2 + 2 = 5, then you can say it's scientifically proven because science isn't fact. That fact and science are two different things, and this is what gets people all freaked out. And Brian doesn't, he really doesn't get this. But a fact is something that almost everybody will agree to, whereas science is the people that are in that knowledgeable sphere are sort of agreeing to it. But it's not fact. That AI did not say that the flat Earth is not real as a fact. It said it's scientific. To me, that language needs to be looked at seriously because a fact is different than science. It's a much harder word, and you don't hear a lot of people using the word fact, Dave.
AI will say, well, it's been a long proven scientific fact, but it won't tell you what the facts are, and all those things that they listed there are provable not facts.
Right. It didn't use the word fact, though. It used scientific. It said science proves.
Yeah, it's not scientific. It's not scientific. It's an observation.
But science can be anything. You even use the word pseudoscience, which for you is BS science, right?
Well, pseudoscience is you're walking down the road and you take a right around a building and you disappear. And I could say, well, the building must have moved to the left to cover to block where you were. And I could say that's science, but it's not science. That's pseudoscience.
It was scientifically proven. It's just with the wrong information, right, Dave?
Yeah.
But they didn't. As long as you don't use the word fact. This is why Mike Lindell just got in trouble, because he said without a doubt this guy rigged the election, and then he couldn't prove the guy factually rigged the election, so he lost in court. Right? Because he was doing scientifically. The guy was there. There was smoke. There must have been fire, and he blamed the guy that he factually rigged the elections. Well, he couldn't prove it, so he lost in court. So his science didn't work, because in court you have to have facts and you have to prove those facts. And what that AI just told, when Joe looked at that AI, he said scientifically proven. Well, if you have bad information, you can scientifically prove anything. And this is why the word fact doesn't get. I don't hear the word fact on this show very much, because if I use the word fact and say something dumb, then I can probably get sued today, Dave. So I'm very careful how I choose my words.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So I actually love the fact that AI makes me believe the Earth is flat even more by saying it was scientifically proven. It didn't say scientific fact.
I have a series of videos where I'm talking to AI, and I catch it. I get it to admit some things. It says absolutely, absolutely, and then I expand and I completely get it, and it admits that flat Earth makes more sense than globe Earth. It's on my channel, DITRH on YouTube. Stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole.
That's David. That's Flat Earth Dave, our guest on the Half Empty Cup of Joe. We'll be right back. Welcome back, the Half Empty Cup of Joe. If you want to call in or text, we got a couple segments left with Flat Earth Dave. 877-536-1360. The call lines are open. Joe, do we have a text before we get back to Dave?
Texters texted in about Dave's YouTube channel and the videos, especially the ones where you debate ChatGPT. Please keep making those videos. Could you do one on hemispheric star rotation so I can better understand? Thank you.
I will. That's a good idea. I love doing them. They're really easy to do. It's fun to catch ChatGPT in lies and then have it rage quit on me once. It's very funny. But anyone that wants to see those videos, just go to my website, flatearthdave.com. You'll see all my social media there. Click on the DITRH one, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And they're in the last 15 or 20 videos. There's probably 10 of them by now. And they're really fun.
Excellent. Any more, Joe? Have we emptied?
That's it for the texters.
We emptied out the callers and texters. It only took an hour and 40 minutes. But all right, Dave, you were very popular today. We did touch lightly on nuclear bombs. Dave, wherever you want to go, but I wanted to cover a little bit more on nuclear bombs being fake, a little bit more. But where else,
sure.
Dave?
What do you want
to? Well, Joe had brought it up at the beginning of the show, and we had gotten into it, and we had some callers call in and talk about different ideas about what we do use as those big bombs. Is there anything else that we missed? Because it's a fascinating subject when you start talking that there's no nuclear weapons. If that were to actually get out widespread, does that make the world more dangerous, or does that make us more safe? And I have a feeling, does it actually make us more dangerous if that threat isn't there?
I don't think so. I think that the only way that they control people is fear, right? That's probably the only thing a president said that was real. Is the only thing to fear is fear itself. And if you can get past fear, right? How do you get past fear? Well, you got to get off the globe, because the globe is just a place of fear and satanic lies. You have to understand that we're not overpopulated. There is no global warming. There is no overpopulation. We're not running out of energy. There's so many things they want you to be in fear of, and there's no nuclear bombs. So, again, whenever you hear nuclear bombs on a newscast, you can write the entire thing off as a sitcom. It's nonsense. And fear is how they get things done. Like, they wanted to start all these wars in the Middle East back in 2001, and they couldn't do it until we banged the war drum. So they pulled off 9/11, and everyone banged the war drum, including me. Like, we need to go, and now we're in endless wars of nonsense. They're all absolutely complete and total nonsense.
What do you think is going to end up happening in Iran right now? Do you think this is going to be a big one, or is this going to calm down?
You know what? I'm not even watching it, because it's just more of the same nonsense. It'll calm down if people don't feed it. They need our energy to do it. to have these wars, right? I've seen lots of. I think Candace Owens just the other day told all the people in the military, "Don't go. Get dishonorably discharged. Don't go. We don't need to go over there and lose our lives for a nonsensical war."
Well, Dave, the way that I see these wars and these emergencies like COVID or 9/11. There's always economic problems happening that the system needs to change the economic system, or it needs to be retooled, or someone needs to get a bigger piece, or whatever it is. But there's always going to be these economic catastrophes, and then the emergency comes in. All the money games that would actually upset people if they were watching it happen when the emergencies happen. And like during COVID, we were going to have an economic implosion in 2019, and suddenly COVID just came alive. Same thing with 9/11. If Joe and I do the economic show every day, I see really ugly economic headwinds coming. So we may have the next really big false emergency on our hands.
Well, I mean, the fiat currency is over. I mean, you guys sell silver and gold. That's amazing. Everybody should have silver and gold. You should also know how to use crypto, and because we're in the middle, towards the end of a massive economic disaster. But the thing is it really a disaster, or is it just something shifting? This is a shift. And if you get yourself right, if you understand what's going on, if you can see reality, it could be the greatest thing that ever happened to you in your entire life, what's coming. But other people are going to fall. There's going to be people, two people can have the same circumstances, and one of them, it's horrible for them, and the other one, it's the greatest thing ever. So make this upcoming change in society the greatest thing ever.
I haven't talked to you since the last time we were on. I'll have to talk to you about Texacoin, unless you looked it up since we last talked. But that's.
I know. Yeah, I know about it. It's very interesting, and I like it.
Awesome. Have you bought any mining shares yet?
I have not. I'm stretched out in all kinds of directions.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I'm kind of just holding tight where I am.
I'll talk to you off air about it. Maybe we'll come up with something between you and me. But Joe,
I got some breaking news here. So let me jump in real fast. It appears Donald Trump is kind of hedging his bets now, saying that he'll decide on attacking Iran in the next 2 weeks. So apparently there will not be, hopefully will not be any attack from the United States. Donald Trump now saying that he'll make that decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks, thinks there's a chance for negotiation. The envoy to the Middle East has been in touch with Iran. He's interested in a diplomatic solution. The good news on that is at least the oil markets, of course, right now the markets are closed, but oil markets and pre-markets here hopefully got to come down from that near $80.
What do you say, Dave?
It's all a big show. It really is all a big show. But I think that we're in charge of the show. Our emotions build the show. They can't do it unless we will it into existence. Yep. So there you go.
All right, we're going to finish this thing up on a Thursday with Flat Earth Dave. If you want to get a last quick call or text, you better do it now, 877-536-1360. It's been a good one, guys. We'll be back and finish this thing up.
Well, I just want to say that I told you so. 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 Yeah. But you didn't listen. I told you so. I told you so.
Segment here on the Half Empty Cup. Want to thank all the callers and texters today. Obviously, Dave, thank you so much for once again being here. It's important to have guys like Dave. We need more guys like Dave out there digging deep and questioning what it is that's being that is being told to us. And it's something where, it's so funny is so many people are so resistant to that, and I just don't understand why. Because how many times in our lifetime what we thought was true turned out to be something totally different. And it's one of those things where I think a lot of people just want to be sheep, and just whatever they say, that's what it's going to be. And that just sets you up for slavery. And then the biggest thing I think Dave said in all of this today was right there at the very end. What is coming? You know it's coming. We all know it's coming. It's your choice to how you're going to come out the other side, right? Do you want to come out the other side and have it be the greatest thing that ever happened? Or do you want to come out the side and be wiped out? It's up to you. So, Dave, kudos to you. Tell everybody, because I know a lot of people want to know, where do they go to find all your stuff?
It's simple, flatearthdave.com. Follow my social media stuff there. Just subscribe to all my social media and see what happens in your feed. You'll just even if you don't believe it, especially if you don't believe it, just start watching some of my shorts. I got lots of shorts out there. And there's so many people waking up, and once you go flat, you don't globe back. So flatearthdave.com. Everything's there. Check out my app. The app is the best way to teach yourself. I had a new feature since we last spoke, where it's there's over 220 Flat Earth flashcard proofs. So when someone says, "Where's your proof?" You got 220 at your fingertips that you can literally send to people.
Excellent.
It's super. It's awesome. And also, you can find other Flat Earth like-minded people around you with the Friend Finder. There's a dating app on there. There's a meetup maker. Everything, and it's all included with one tiny price.
$3, right?
Well, it's $3 for the app, and then the if you want to use the dating, if you want to use the profiles, or the flashcards, there's an $11 a year subscription. $11 a year, or you can just refer the app to 11 people, and you get the subscription for free.
I have for anybody saying dating apps. Anybody that's crazy. I've seen the vids, Dave, of how one person in the relationship suddenly discovers the Earth is flat, and it just destroys the relationship because it's that divisive sometimes.
Well, what happens is it's worse than having two different religions, that you can kind of work around sometimes. But the Flat Earther has the advantage because the Glober will eventually see it if they have a half a brain. The Flat Earther will never become a Glober again.
All right, Joe, take us out.
God bless everybody. Thank you so much, Dave. Hey, guess what? We're going to wrap up the week tomorrow. Take care.
Stop bitching. Do something.
The Flat Earth Clock app has a new feature that will be a game changer. Flat Earth proof flashcards are here. Over 200 proofs destroying the globe. Swipe to go to the next card or click the shuffle icon to go to a random card. If you see an info icon on the top, click it to get more information on that specific flat Earth proof. Click the back button to go back to a previous card at any time. The more info icon could be a website, a playlist, a book, or a video. Use the share icon to share cards with others via text, email, airdrop, or any other sharing modality. Update your Flat Earth Clock app today and start increasing your Flat Earth knowledge and sharing it with others.